young man speaking in the city square, trying to tell somebody that he cares. Can you blame the voice of youth for asking what is true? Yeah, the ones that you're calling wild are gonna be the leaders in a little while. When will the lonely voice of youth cry what is true? This our world's waking to a newborn babe, and I solemnly swear it'll be their way. You better help that voice of youth find what is true. And the lonely voice of youth cries, what is true?
Boom. Welcome in, everybody. It is another Friday Pirate live stream, and we are building momentum because that's the topic. Thanks to Ixnon for the next like 4 topics again. So that's handy. Yeah. So I've got my Sam Pal. I hope you have something equivalent. And of course, I have some of that in my Muppet cup. Delicious. I hope you have one of these cups to remind yourself. If not, you should get one at the store. And I've got some Happy Tract tea, which is medicinal tea from Table Rock Tea Company. And of course, I have some turmeric ginger tea with some Manuka honey. Manuka honey is quite good. So yeah, we've got it all set. Polly's here. I know Polly had to take a break last week, but Polly's back. There won't be a stream next Friday because I'll be on the road. So I generally don't stream on the road. Sometimes I do, but no plans to do so. All right. So we've got our favorite book, at least for the stream. Let's open to a random location here and see what Taleb has for us. Wisdom in the young is as unattractive as frivolity in the elderly. Ooh, interesting. I like that. I like that. Always insightful. What's been going on? So we just got a war. That's all that's going on, I think, is the war. No one's really talking about anything else. It just sort of like another episode of this dumb thing that proves that the people in high places are not smarter than you. They make the same stupid mistakes and errors as everybody else. The number of times in my lifetime that I've been told, oh, Iran revolution, it's different this time. And if we just topple the regime, this isn't the first, second, or third time. Okay. It wasn't going to work this time either. It's not going to work next time, by the way. That ain't how things work. So, yeah. Oh no, the war will be over soon. Yeah, right. I don't know why we want war in the Middle East, but apparently we just want to fight with all the countries in the Middle East, or maybe not we, but maybe some of our quote allies, which might indicate that they're not actually allies at that point. They want to involve you in a war with every country around you. It's usually not an ally. Seems like a bad plan. Not that I'm against bombing Iran, mind you, but prolonged war in Iran? Yeah, that doesn't sound good. We'll see what happens. Hopefully things will unfold as they usually do, and this will all just burn out and go away because eventually people run out of munitions. So it's not that hard. It's not that hard at all. So yeah, we are talking about momentum. And I know I've had a video on this in the past, but I wanted to cover this in this a live stream as part of a sequence: grounding, momentum, scale, and hierarchy. And we did grounding last time, and this time we're doing this idea of momentum. And so I want to sort of set the stage. Momentum is what we could have once we get off our fat asses and do a thing. You're not guaranteed momentum, but you could have it, right? So it's always a plus, right? The issue becomes directing that momentum towards something that can continue. And so you can build up momentum uh, in a bad way, and that momentum can drag you down. Or you can build up momentum in a good way, and that momentum can continue. That's something, like how the power of positive thinking works, actually. So that's not to be easily dismissed, because that's roughly how it works. If you send out positive vibes and you're doing a thing, that's a momentum that can continue. So this is where all the discernment needs to be, the important part, the stuff that matters, right? When things break down, wherever you're looking, it's often due to a loss of momentum and not directly due to the corruption, right? Momentum often acts as a correction to inevitable corruptions. You're trying to remove corruption, you're a moron. Probably need to mind your business or something. Corruption's not going away. It doesn't say you shouldn't call it out, but also don't try to remove it entirely from everywhere, because that's not going to work. It's that corruption causes that loss, that breakdown of momentum. That's when things go horribly, horribly wrong. And once you kind of understand it's not the corruption, right? That's just one. There may be many, but that's just one of the factors that can arrest the momentum. What you're seeing is a breakdown of momentum, right? And none of this is to say that everything we do does or should contain momentum, or is done with momentum or within a momentum, right? So do not confuse the ability to create momentum with the action required to manifest momentum, right? So sure, you can get momentum going, but that's not the same as having the action required to actually manifest it and keep it going, for example. And many actions that you take are simply a way to have a stable ground to afford things like momentum later on. In other words, maintenance. So those simple, rote, basic, boring tasks that you do every day, like the laundry or the dishes or whatever, maybe you do them once a week or twice a week, whatever it is, those things are not momentum in and of themselves, but they afford momentum later on. Right, because when the dishes are done and then somebody comes over, the dishes are ready. You don't have to do the dishes while they're there, right? When the laundry's done, you can just go get clothes and get dressed. You don't have to do the laundry first, right? That removes momentum. So preparedness is an action or a set of actions, and that affords momentum. And it affords many different types of momentum, right? Like if you can be prepared for lots of things, like I clean my guns once a month. I'm always prepared to go to the gun range. Sure, reasonable. Unless you don't like guns, in which case I don't know what you're doing here, and you're probably on the team evil. Guns are great. Shoot stupid beavers with them. Oh, the beavers, the damn beavers, literally damn beavers. So taking care of your infrastructure is maintenance of existing momentum, right? That's good to know. There's already momentum around you in your life, and you need to maintain that momentum. And that momentum helps you to build momentum, other types of momentum, right? If you're not standing on a stable ground, right, that's prepared, then bad things can happen. And there's a corollary to that, which is momentum might push back, right? And sometimes if you're trying to do something, it's not working, you can't get momentum, then that might be momentum pushing back, telling you, don't do that. Right? So comes back to discernment again, as we'll get into later. So the problem with momentum, that grand illusion, is success. Even if we have, we'll say, a good measure of success, not all success builds momentum. And getting things done often, well, I would say most often, involves 2 steps back to make 1 step go forward, as they say. And having a telos or a purpose or a final cause or whatever doesn't guarantee good results. And nothing makes a straight line. I still believe in straight lines. Momentum has the carrying power to be unfazed or not horribly impacted by errors. And that's part of the power of momentum. You get the momentum of a business going. It's a hell of a lot of work in the beginning. And then, yeah, later on, maybe, 20 years later, you're the CEO and you show up in the office once a week. Right. And that's to make back all of the time you spent building the business from scratch by yourself. And if somebody walks into the business in the middle out thinking, and sees, oh, the CEO is never here, this business must be really easy to create and run. Well, that's a problem. That's not what happened. People don't see these things clearly, right? Because they can't. To be fair to them, they can't. And those 2 steps back to make the 1 step forward, hopefully you learned something there. And if you didn't learn a lesson, either this isn't for you because you can't learn about it, or that's the momentum from somewhere else that you didn't see pushing back on you and telling you, no, this isn't going to work. So that's good to know. Like, oh, I'm not getting anything out of this action. I'm not getting the results of the action. I'm not learning from it. Maybe I should just drop it and like figure out something else. Yeah, maybe. But isn't that cool? Like there is a signal there you can engage with. So, that's better than wasting your life trying to do something that is never going to work for you. I'm never going to be able to play guitar ever. I might be able to pull off piano, though. Tiny hands. Don't waste time with that. So how do we experience and understand human momentum and its uses? First, you need to be aware that you need ground to stand on, right? To push off from in order to make anything like momentum, right? To have true momentum, you've got to have a place that you're standing to make that. And you've got to have a telos, a real purpose. You can't just like, oh, I'm just going to do things and see what happens. I mean, that can work, right? But you're not necessarily building momentum there. And so you should be careful because you are putting action into the world and reactions will happen. So all things must start with cultivating the ground, with building a momentum to where you stand before you can stand there to pursue your telos or your goal. And the thing is, you can see trajectory in action. When you watch actions, you can see things unfolding and how they're going to unfold in the future. It's not to say that you can accurately predict exactly what's going to happen, but when a TV station is on the rise, you can tell, right? When when a business becomes big or a YouTube channel becomes big, you can tell. Like you can see this trajectory going. I saw the trajectory with Tim Pool. I saw that trajectory with Carl Benjamin, Sargon of Akkad, right? You can see these trajectories of this momentum of all the time, energy, and attention they've put in towards a fairly specific goal, very disciplined, and then it just moves. And then once it starts moving, man, look out. But you can see that and you can use that to measure, oh, am I building momentum or not? Am I just going 2 steps back and a half a step forward and 2 steps back and a half a step forward? Well, that's not good. I'm not learning anything out of it. Uh-oh. That's big trouble. And the thing is, some of this ground that you're going to cultivate for your momentum was given to you without your knowledge or consent by your ancestors. I mean, that already happened to you. I mean, we can whine about it or whatever if we want to guess, but also it was a gift. It was freely given, and you ain't got no choice. So better make the best of it. Otherwise, you're going to make the worst of everything else. Be grateful. All right? Be grateful. That will help you see or sense, might be a better, more accurate term, the proper alignment of goals with goodness, truth, and beauty. And that's what you want to aim towards with your whatever you're creating momentum. You want it to be true, good, and beautiful. You want that purpose there. And that allows you to put your action into a momentum that will matter over time. And again, that means discernment is still the key. Right discernment or relevance realization. Relevance realization would be right discernment. Those would actually be the same thing. So you have to start with an action, right? And once you've got the action of cultivating your ground and making sure you're grounded and understanding grounding, right? And then cultivating that grounding to make it a little bit stronger. That's Jordan Peterson, stand up straight and clean your room, right? That's personal, private momentum, right? And like personal private perspective, it can only get you so far, right? So that's the grounding that you have to build. You got to have that, right? But what that means is that in order to get a lot of momentum and a big goal done, you have to be careful who you participate with, right? If you are cooperating, which again we covered in a previous live stream, or if you're just being used. It matters what you are doing and if you can get others to help or not. If you can't get others to help, maybe it's not worth trying to build up momentum towards it. It doesn't mean you don't try and then give up. Maybe that's the right answer, right? And perhaps it matters less how you elicit the help of others, right? But I think it does matter how you elicit the help of others. Like, do you pay them? Do you blackmail them? I mean, I'm not saying you shouldn't. Maybe you should. Maybe you should hold something over their heads. Maybe they broke a promise and they need to make it up to you, right? Like, these are important things to consider. But you have to consider that it can matter how you elicit the help of other people. Are you threatening them? Like, maybe that's not a good way to build momentum, or maybe the momentum you build will be corrupted by that. I don't know. I'm not going to make a judgment. I'm just saying. And the thing is, momentum's tricky because when we don't have any momentum, we feel like we're not progressing or making progress. As usually people talk about it. Of course, I have a video on why the terrible word. We tend to blame others, right? We either blame their actions that are like preventing us from doing something, or we blame their inaction that's keeping us down, right? And the thing is, neither is true. Those are just excuses your ego tells you so that you'll do less work and still feel okay about it, at least in the short term. Eventually, you'll just become angry and bitter that you didn't get whatever you want. Is it stardom? Is it a promotion at work? Is it a better job and you've been applying to 100 places with your resume, right? And yeah, you need personal private momentum and you need the skills of cooperation to build anything bigger than you, even if the bigger than you is just in time. It doesn't have to be bigger than your lifespan, right? Because most of your lifespan, you're pretty inept, right? Roughly speaking, 2/3 of your lifespan is just you're not really in the picture, right? Either you're too young or too old, and just the way life is. So, you're not going to be able to work 80-hour weeks to keep the business running when you're 70 years old, right? So that's why you build momentum. That's why you get other people involved, right? So eventually you can go and be golfing while they're working, and you can come to the office one day a week. That's totally fair, right? So you have to kind of understand that aspect. Momentum is there to help you over time and help you through, you get sick. You were unable to do something for a month. Yeah, well, with momentum, maybe that's a totally recoverable, almost transparent error, right? And without momentum, it's not. It's the end of the world. That's why there's a trend towards, solopreneurship, and it's garbage. Like, it's very dangerous. You get sick, that's all gone. Who knows what could happen? Got to be very careful with stuff like that. And the thing is, momentum obeys certain, we'll call them laws. However, any amount of effort can overcome, at least temporarily, not only the gravity against you, but the violation of principles that allow for increasing rather than decreasing momentum. In other words, you can get that ball rolling in the wrong direction, uphill, when you shouldn't, and that's not sustainable. Right? So that's why you need a good discernment of virtues and values. Anything can spiral down until it hits bottom. And if you're going against gravity, you can only keep that momentum up so long, and then eventually, like Sisyphus, you're going to end up having to start all over again. Or worse, it'll spiral all the way down to hell. And was that momentum? Was it good? I mean, it was momentum. Was it good? Not really. Now you're in hell. Doesn't sound good to me. Your mileage may vary, I guess. And the thing is, like, a bad relationship has bad momentum and will end in a bad breakup, whether that's a romantic relationship or friendship or business relationship. It doesn't matter, right? That could be a violent altercation, a divorce, being fired, betrayal from a friend, any number of things, right? You get a friend, you get together. Why? Because you both like to smoke pot every once in a while. Yeah, the odds that's going to end poorly in betrayal is pretty high, actually. People don't realize that because people don't count and do math. But if you do the math, you'll notice pretty quickly, hey, this happens a lot. And if you don't have drugs in common, but you like to have a good time, well, that'll end poorly, right? So, it's just a difference of what we call a good time. Well, but what you have in common is liking to have a good time. That's not a great, lasting, momentum building relationship right there. Now, is it? So that can happen. And the issue for us is our memory and our lack of being able to sense patterns. We often don't see correlation when it's too far away in time or when we are cognitively overloaded. And the thing is, usually we can be cognitively overloaded by good feelings or thoughts, or overwhelmed by emotions, as always. And that'll inhibit our ability to sense patterns or to see basic correlations, because correlations are not patterns. But they're basic relationships. I mean, we should be able to see them all the time. And the thing is, even when we do see them, if we cannot make a connection, right, with this pattern that we're sensing, if we can't see the correlation, then we may not believe that it's valid. We may not believe that that pattern is there, that relationship is valid. Maybe we think this time is different in Iran with the uprising, even though it never was before in the history of, forever. Seems a little weird that people wouldn't notice that, but apparently we're still making that mistake. People aren't making the connection. They're preferring to believe the lie. Somebody on the crypto call today, it's AGI. I'm like, please stop. Please. Just at some point. Okay. It's just math. Okay. It's not going to be any more sentient than writing equations on a chalkboard. For real. It actually isn't. Like, I don't know what to tell you. This isn't Frankenstein. You don't add electricity to dead math and get living matter. Like, that doesn't work. It doesn't work. I don't know what else to tell people. How many times do we have to hear AGI before you realize they haven't defined artificial, the word intelligence, in any context, or what general would be? That these are three terms without any definitions by anybody. Okay. So people haven't seen that correlation. They haven't seen this pattern, right? With fusion. Nope. 1940s. They're advertising fusions 5 years away. Do we have fusion? No, we don't. Right? And the thing is, when you don't see these connections, the momentum just goes. But where is the question? Where does the momentum go? Right? Because it doesn't vanish, right? It may dissipate over time, and sure, that happens, right? But where does it go? And that's something you need to watch out for. And the thing is, human momentum is based on human agency. And if that agency isn't well directed, disciplined, and following good principles, chaos will result. Now, I don't know where you guys are living, or if you've seen the internet, or maybe clicked on a YouTube video or two ever in the past, like 6 years minimum. But chaos will result. Does that maybe connection there? I don't know. Your mileage may vary, I guess. So since your memory, may not be enough, journaling can help, but who goes and looks at the journals? Who gets the right message from the journals? Who reads them on a regular basis, right? You should get help. You should get help in trying to build human momentum, in trying to make sure that your agency is well directed and that you're disciplined. We could all use help with discipline. And make sure you're following good principles. You probably can't see good principles by yourself all the time because you get overwhelmed by events or emotions. More likely, those sort of go hand in hand, but be that as it may. And look, uninvolved third parties are important here, right? Somebody who's not on the project, right? And they can matter a lot to the equation because they can give you better advice and better vision, right? Someone with nothing to gain or lose can be more truthful. So you seek those people out and have them help you get some momentum. Like if they're not living with you and they don't have to put up with you, they may be more willing to give you, we'll say, very harsh advice that you need to hear than somebody who has to put up with your whining. And the thing is, momentum itself has a gravity, if you will, all its own. And, assuming it's good gravity, that might be fine, right? But you might get swept up in that gravity. And if it's momentum that you started, it's probably momentum you want to be swept up in. Again, that helps with errors. So, maybe you have to leave the game for a bit and then you can come back because that momentum's still there. And, it doesn't go away without you. That's good, right? It's bigger than you, right? But most of the things in motion aren't under your control. In other words, there's all kinds of momentum going on that you had nothing to do with that, has a gravity. The fourth estate will continue to fall. Of course, I have a video about that, right? Things will continue to try to occupy the vacuum left by the fourth estate. You can accuse me of doing something similar if you'd like. I can't probably disagree with that, right? And the thing is, you can try to be involved or not, right? But the lack of good, clean, consistent, reliable news will continue for some time because the momentum from the collapsing of the fourth estate is not over. That vacuum is not fully formed, and there's nothing trying to step in there at any scale that would make a difference. I mean, yeah, Daily Wire has been trying to do it for a while, but come on. They're not, they don't know what they're doing. It's too bad. Tim Pool's not going to be able to do it, right? He just doesn't have enough good workers. Or a good enough system to have enough people cooperate, right? He has all the momentum he needs, right? But when you scale, you need bigger, better structures. That's where everyone gets upset, right? I think I've mentioned this before. That it's well known in entrepreneurship spaces. You probably don't want to scale past 50 people because at 50 people, you can know everybody that works for you, and after that, you're managing managers. And that's a whole different skill set. A lot of people who like to run small companies do not like to manage managers. They hate it. They think it's terrible, right? Just the way it is, right? And so Tim Pool's kind of guy who doesn't want to manage managers and build structures that other people can cooperate with, he's not going to be the guy, right? I've already concluded this. That could change. I mean, anything could change, right? But right now, that's the way it is. And part of that, again, is just the function that that vacuum isn't fully there. We're still dealing with the gravity of the momentum of the collapse of the fourth estate. It hasn't resolved itself yet. That's why there's so many goofy YouTube channels. And the thing is, until some great man comes along and fixes the issue, and no worries, it won't be you, or else you wouldn't have to listen to me tell you, or you simply agree and then you have a shot at it and make it work, right? Sheer force of will can carry the day from zero to hero, as they say. Not really. Heroes are born, not made, obviously, and you likely aren't one, so don't worry about it. Real heroes don't object; they just get stuff done. They probably don't have time to listen to my YouTube channel, but if they did, they'd know it was right. They wouldn't object. It's the asymmetrical trick. And there are great men out there, and they are doing stuff. And whether or not they're doing the right thing, don't really understand the things that they're involved in and what momentum gravity has them, and maybe the conflict between how they think they should change the world versus how the world needs to be changed, right? All of that is going on. Good to know. Good to know. And we're caught up in a lot of this momentum, right? I could point to Jordan Peterson trying to get into politics with his ARC project as somebody not facing the reality of the momentum they're caught up in. But I won't. Oh, wait, maybe I did. Never mind. Look, at that point, a new momentum is formed, right? Like, what caused the rise of YouTube? Was it Jordan Peterson, or did he just coincide, right? And great men are often the leaders of the new momentum. And, I'm part of the Peterson sphere, as are a lot of other people. Some of them maybe don't want to admit it, which is really curious and strange. And why are you identifying against? Good indication of what you're up to, though, and it ain't good. Just saying. And Peterson, is in that vacuum of the fall of the fourth estate. Some of us are following in his footsteps to some extent, doing the best we can without his help. Dear Jordan. And that we're caught up in that. Like, that you don't really have a choice. You're not going to be on the internet and not hear about Jordan Peterson or run into Peterson adjacent work. That's not going to happen anymore. I mean, there are spaces in the internet where that's going to happen for sure, because the internet is bigger than the world, technically. Good to know. So you don't even understand the Iran war. You think you understand the internet? You think you know anything about the internet? Really? Okay. Sure, whatever. You're caught up in this, especially on the internet, but also off the internet. You're caught up in it. I went to Barnes and Nobles the other day. I hadn't been in a while, which is good, because me and bookstores, dangerous combination. And they have a self-transformation section now. And I'm like, why? And there's still self-help under psychology. I'm like, what is going on with the world? A worst section. History section was tiny. The science section was, smaller than I would like. The business section was small. Self-transformation was huge. There's some momentum there. It's not good momentum. And the thing is, you've got these great men. They're doing things. And if you aren't cooperating, you aren't helpful. And if you do cooperate, imperfect though that man or mission or implementation may be, at least you have a shot at not being wiped out by the momentum created. In other words, it's better to go along with the Peterson sphere than it is to try to create your own sphere or deny that you're part of it when you're caught up in it. That's all I'm saying. That's just one of many examples. You can pretend as though, presidents going to war is unexpected and we shouldn't have presidents that go to war, even though actually that's the main and most important thing that the president of the United States does, is determine just wars and when to get involved and when not to. So that would be weird if that's what you thought. But I'm just going to tell you, if you're electing a president based on him not or her not going to war, I don't think you should be voting, because you're really not smart enough and you haven't bothered to read anything about the Constitution and the founding fathers, how the system works. And that's why people watch great men, right? Because agree or disagree, the momentum is at play. You might as well vote to elect the successor of the current successful president. You might as well, right? It's hard to find a better option, right? The great man can hand down the torch. That's true. Does it always work? No, nothing always works. This is not a surprise. This is called Tuesday. And the thing is, as with all forces, all powers and principalities, momentum can be changed, deflected, leveraged, and used in other ways. And that's why handing down the torch doesn't always go as you expect, right? And obviously, this isn't all cooperation. Some people deflect momentum because they don't want that momentum to go in that direction. But it might be good, right? It might be good, even if it's not cooperative, because that can happen. That's just rare, right? It's just rare, and it's hard to deflect momentum, right? Unless you're evil. Evil does it all the time to great effect. That's part of the problem. But derailing evil geniuses' plans to blot out the sun, or stopping the momentum like that, that's always a good thing, right? You see fake news flu shots that they redefined the term vaccine so that they could convince you they were giving you something that they absolutely were not giving you. Yeah, stop that momentum. Yeah, do what you can. Absolutely, don't cooperate with that nonsense. And it did have momentum, and that momentum was entirely made up. But let's be fair. The people that had been lying to you all along and that you were told were lying to you were still lying to you. That's on you, man. Like, that's, I don't know what to tell you about that. Right? And not everybody who will say didn't stop them publicly is to blame, because there's still momentum. And even the president is subject to public momentum, because the public is bigger than the president, as it turns out. He's only one guy, and the public is like most of the other guys, right? So you have to be careful, right? But that doesn't mean you have to participate in bad momentum. And those particular things are easy to see that they're bad momentum. I understand that it's a lot harder to see other things. That's why you need other people, and stop relying on yourself, because you suck. If you didn't suck, you would just be nodding and agreeing with me and being very happy at what I said. I don't know what else to tell you. Like, this isn't that hard. People that understand it, people that get it, they get it. Like, if you know, you know. And if you don't know, that's why you're here, and that's fine, and that's good, and I hope I help you. But also, like, don't go thinking you can fix problems on your own. You're here because you can't fix things on your own. That's correct. This is a good first step. Let's fully acknowledge our insufficiencies, all of us together. I can't do these live streams by myself. I can barely dress myself. That's why I have a wardrobe specialist now. I didn't come up with this topic. Ixnon came up with the topic. I didn't do the animation. I did the photographic part of the animation at the beginning of the video, right? I didn't do the music, right? Like, all of this stuff is cooperation. And that's why we have, what are we going on, 5 years of momentum? We have at least 4 years of momentum going here. And we're going to, keep it going. And the thing is, until you understand momentum, you can't harness it for your life. Both to be a part of it, start by gaining personal momentum, for example, to avoiding it, right? You got to avoid bad momentum. Like, why didn't you know the guy telling you to wear masks was an idiot who wasn't quoting any scientific studies, which might be why he didn't quote any scientific studies. And why didn't you go look up the scientific studies and find out there are no scientific studies that say masks work? They all say masks don't work, or maybe have no effect. You could have done that, by the way. I did. I'm just saying. You seem to have internet if you're here. So you've got to understand that momentum existed, and that you were going to get pressured from the people around you. And that, yeah, if you lived in some crazy place like New England, you needed to get the hell out of there the minute that stuff started happening, because that momentum was not going to get better. Now, I got out years before that happened, thank goodness. There was other momentum afoot that I saw changing So I knew something like that was going to happen. I didn't know what, I didn't know when, but I was right. So I'll take it. And the thing is, sometimes again, you got to stop it. Sometimes you just got to accept the momentum. I mean, we're going to be at war with Iran. We're still not putting an end to whatever the hell is happening in Ukraine. Like, we have to accept those things. They came our way. We had to adjust appropriately. South Carolina was closed for 90 days, and then the restaurants reopened. 90. New England, there were restaurants closed for 3 years. I stepped out of the way. The momentum still hit me down here. I mean, they were wearing masks in the city of Columbia only, but I don't live in the city of Columbia, so I just stopped shopping in Columbia. And the thing is, this always leads us back to where everything I talk about leads to: discernment. Discernment of good and bad. There's good momentum, there's bad momentum. And that's what you need to work on. You can start very simply with the very simple case of understanding the momentum of physical objects. Put a weight at the end of a string and swing it around, really, and put your finger on it. You get a yo-yo. Helps you understand momentum. It really does. The better you get with a yo-yo, the more you'll understand momentum. The qualities of physical momentum in the world exist all the way up the stack. It's a self-similar fractal reality, baby. All the way up the stack. Momentum kind of works the same. It doesn't look the same, right? Obviously, non-physical momentum doesn't look like physical momentum. That should be a duh moment, and that's okay. But once you understand physical momentum, you can make the connection, the correlations, see the patterns to the social momentums, to the non-material momentums, to the momentum of sheer action. And once you get used to that, maybe you can't read action directly, but you can sort of see the ripples, right? You'll just have an easier time because you'll know, do I cooperate with this? Do I reject it? Do I try to stop it? Do I sidestep it? What do I do? You can get a sense for that once you understand the world with that frame. That's why I'm giving you the frame. And that's pretty much all I have to say about momentum. So next week, I can't do scale because I'm on the road, but then we're going to do scale and hierarchy. And I did talk to my lovely friend Adam, and we will be recording before I leave for Easter a video about the history of Otto von Bismarck, Prussia, the PSYOP that's called Germany. When you find out what a PSYOP Germany is, you guys are worried about this stupid little recent fake news virus scam PSYOP, and the Germany PSYOP's been going on a hell of a lot longer than that. You didn't even notice. Although, to be fair, I didn't know the scale either, because why would you look into such a thing? But here we are. All right, let's catch up. There's almost nothing to catch up on. No one loves me. Okay. Denise, listening while I do dishes. Excellent, Denise. Glad you're doing dishes. I hope you're doing well. Yeah, any questions about this sort of frame on momentum? Because I know it's a little bit different from what I was talking about last time. At least I hope it is. I used the AIs to summarize a bunch of stuff, so I was talking about the right thing, at the right level, and hopefully I didn't repeat myself too much. Although, to be fair, momentum is momentum, man. There's only so much you can say about it. It's all really about reframing and seeing if people get a better feel for it. Ixnay, not a lot of momentum in the comments this week. I know it's yeah. Well, yeah, something's been going on, but I don't know. I might expand. I gotta find out how to do the podcast. Every time I try to do podcasts, it's a nightmare. I gotta put my stuff on podcast networks, and then I gotta figure out how to fix the StreamYard. There's a solution. I just have to play with it until it works. I don't know if I'll get that done this coming week or this weekend or what, but I do have 2 more unexpected live streams coming up. And like I said, the video with Adam. So that'll be good. And what else is coming up? I don't know. I got to reach out to some more people and see what's going on. I did a bunch of work with the AIs and the Plato Republic Book Club. It's very interesting, some of the things the AIs can do. Rather surprising. So we may be releasing some of that as study guides and stuff. Now that I have an idea of what it can do, the giant indexing project is, chugging along. It should be done in a week or two, and that means I'll have all of my videos, all of my old videos indexed. The stuff from the past month will not be indexed yet because it takes a while to do this. And then we'll also, we'll offer that as a service somehow, and then we'll also look to doing some other channels because there's so much volume out there, and to be fair, like one of the things that the AI is doing and is good at is compressing data, summarizing it, and organizing it. So we now have a tool for doing that for YouTube videos. And it's chugging along and it's working, and we're going to test run it on this YouTube channel, Navigating Patterns, first. And then we'll see who we do next. But that's running entirely on our own infrastructure. It's kind of cool. I don't have the actual processing's not done, so I can't do summaries and indexes and all that stuff. But that's stuff we can tie in once we have all the data. The key is to get extract all the useful data out of the system, which is not a trivial task. But with Gustav's lovely help, we've been able to do this. Maybe we'll call it AI tools that matter or something. The usefulness of these tools is always in question with people, but if you actually know how the technology works and what it does, incredibly useful. Incredibly useful. There's no AGI though. That's people getting a little crazy there with the AGI thing. I don't quite understand what they're doing. The most fun is to ask them, like, well, what is AGI? How do you define artificial? How do you define intelligence? And how do you define general? And what will I see when we have it? And you can just listen to them stammer. It's kind of funny. I mean, you shouldn't laugh at retarded people that are stammering, but also it's kind of fun. If they're going to be publicly retarded, I feel obligated to make fun of them. And speaking of lost momentum, making fun of people who are being absurd is a momentum we have lost that we need to get back. This went away with shaming, also another thing that, of course, shaming back, right? It just kind of moved. Big surprise. It's usually a hint that you can't get rid of the thing. So if you don't use it wisely, it will be used poorly and you'll all suffer. But no one's ready to hear that, apparently. So along with shaming, we lost, making fun of stupid people. But actually, it's really important to make fun of stupid people, because if you don't, other people won't know that they're stupid and they'll listen to them. This YouTuber clown Destiny, man, I tell you, his whole trick is he just starts from lying. He just makes an incorrect, obviously lying statement, and then proceeds logically from there. And people are like, "Oh, he's really smart." I'm like, "No, he's just lying, though. Like, he's not really smart. I don't like any idiot can follow a logical pattern of coherence that doesn't convey truth. I mean, it may sound comforting because you can go from point A to point B to point C or whatever, but that doesn't mean it's true. And it's not like Hitler made bad arguments. They were just wrong. They were based on science, so you didn't have much. If you base things on science, you're going to end up with bad arguments. They'll be unjustified, right? That's what science does best: unjustified arguments. And I think, we've lost that momentum in society. We've lost the momentum in society. I mean, you've probably seen some of the reports. They've sort of quieted down recently, as far as I can tell, but that's not always a good sign. Sometimes it just means they're not being reported. Um, the a lot of people are pressuring churches to take down public displays. That's bad momentum. Like we've got to fight against that. Like that's right. Like that's anti-religious tolerance, and we're sort of founded on religious tolerance, whatever we may think of that. Denise, dish is done. Excellent. Very good discussion of momentum related to age. Yeah, well, it's all about age. I mean, unfortunately, time is part of momentum and how we measure it. And I don't think people realize that the foolish youngsters they see and the we'll say uh, tired, stodgy old people they see were once just like them in the middle, uh, full of spit and vinegar, as they said back when I was a boy. And they're not putting two and two together that, oh, I was once a foolish, overconfident youngster that, wasted a lot of time and played too many video games. Or, oh, someday I will be an older person with, slowing down, maybe not the best memory, bad hearing, etc. Right? Um, they're not putting two and two together. And so they're not utilizing, we'll say their best years to build up momentum. And then it's a problem. They all crash. It's horrific to watch at some level. Um, but we need to point it out too. Like, well, yeah, they failed to build momentum and now they've had a crash. And well, that's unfortunate for them. But also, I don't know how stupid you are, but you're stupid. So don't be stupid. What am I supposed to do? Right. People aren't willing to call out the truth at all costs. And everybody says, well, I value the truth. Well, until you have to be mean, right? When the truth is mean or hurts somebody's feelings, you're dropping the truth like a bad habit. I don't know, man. I don't think you care about the truth at all. I'm just saying. And I'm not, we'll say beyond quote deception. The truth is a tricky thing to nail down. But also, I don't think you do people favors when you coddle them in terms of their feelings, um, because you're robbing them of important lessons. And the fact that they don't learn those lessons does not mean that you don't have an obligation to try and teach those lessons. Those are not the same thing. That's inverse causality. You're supposed to try to teach people things, and if they don't get it, that's on them. But you're off the hook. You get all the credit, whether they get the lesson or not, right? Trying to teach the lesson gives you 100% of the points, and them getting the lesson doesn't give you any additional points. That's just the way it is. I talked a little bit about that with Benjamin Boyce, um, and a few people liked it. So it's an important lesson to realize. Like you're only obligated to try. You're not obligated to even your own external idea of success. That's not what you're obligated to, but you are obligated to put in the effort, right? And that's useful to know, right? Because if you don't get the outcome you want and you learn from it, and then you try something, we'll say slightly different, or you try the same thing, looking for a different outcome, and you get that outcome, like that's the process of learning. So I don't know why people are tied up in, oh, you tried this, but the person, that you tried to tell that to didn't get it. Okay, that's gonna happen. Like communication sucks and we're all bad at it. And we're all terrible listeners at some level. So who cares? Like, but you have to put the effort in. You can't say, well, I'm not gonna put the effort in because that person might cry. Yeah, they might. I don't know. They might cry tears of joy because you told them something important and it clicked for them. I don't know. And by the way, that wasn't a hypothetical. That's actually happened a few times. Um, that's the power of the truth. Man, the truth can set you free in some cases. Not all the time, but it can. And that's good to know, right? It's not all bad news. And momentum is important because, like it or not, you're wrapped up in it. And you can either participate or try to buck it forever. and just be miserable because it's outside of you and bigger than you. I think that's where people get the most confused is we're really not good at conveying that there's just certain forces going on in the world, like the war in Iran, that you just don't have any say over. You don't have any interaction with. You're not going to make any change to that. And to the extent you can make a change, yeah, this isn't the year. So chillax about that. Don't pay attention to it until you can make a change, maybe, whatever small change that may be, and see what happens. Because like you're not obligated to keep up to date, up to the minute with, how many people were killed or how many tanks or whatever. You're just not obligated to. And news tends to do better 1 month after the event, and it tends to be full of noise before that. This is something that obviously Nassim Taleb points out. So trying to stay up to the minute, stay up to date, right, as a way to build momentum towards knowledge or something is a fool's errand. What you really want to know is what to do and what you can do. So you have to narrow down the things you can do and not start with what to do. Right? You say, what can I do? Oh, okay. And then is that the right, which of those can do's is the right thing? Again, recognizing that the primary role of electing a president is for the purpose of war. Whether you agree with the idea of war or not is irrelevant. Still the reason, this is absolutely famous, right? Everybody was glad Al Gore did not get elected when 9/11 happened. Everybody was thrilled. I mean, it was on CNN. Like, everybody was like, wow, man, we dodged a bullet. We could have elected Gore back there. That would have been bad. They knew he wouldn't have been a good war president, and war came to us. Maybe we're still persecuting that war. Didn't think about that, did you? But like Iran war, I'm not a no on bombing Iran. I might be a no on landing troops because we don't seem to know how to do that. We seem to know how to like conquer an area and then leave it in chaos because we won't just conquer it and like keep it. But that's a different set of problems. Ixnon, the materialists don't understand momentum isn't Sisyphean. Right. Well, they're binary thinkers. Yeah. And they confuse money for momentum. Yes, they do that. It's weird too, because occasionally I catch them and I'm like, bro, did you know you could spend $1 billion and get nothing for it? And they're like, well, yeah, of course you can. I'm like, okay, then why do you think money is this big, powerful thing? Like if you could spend $1 billion and not get what you want, why is money powerful again? I'm a little confused because it's not, by the way. Most money is actually wasted, especially by the wealthy because they have it to waste. So kind of stands to reason that would be the case. And yeah, I mean, money is the way materialists deal with a bunch of non-material or ethereal things for sure. So money is the materialization process for them for a bunch of things that they can't explain with normal materialism. So they just say currency or money or economy or whatever, right? And then they can keep their stupid materialist tools that never worked and claim victory or something. I don't know what they're doing. Other than whining about a war they don't understand, couldn't possibly have enough information to have an intelligent comment about. And these people are so freaking irrational, they can't. On the one hand, every idiot knows you can go on the internet and find how to build a nuclear weapon. On the other hand, they're always skeptical as to whether or not a country with access to advanced tools and utilities actually has these things. And I'm like, listen, if thing A is true, then thing B is a possibility. I don't know what to tell you. But we are living in a world where people, they can't do the math. I don't know why. And then they insist on commenting. Like, if you can't do the math, that's fine. Don't just shut up. Just assume that the people in power know what they're doing, even if you think it's clear to you that they don't. And sometimes they don't. but you don't know when. You may think you know when, but that just means you're an arrogant prick and not that you actually know when. And you may be right. You may be right for the wrong reasons, or you may be right by accident, but most likely you're just wrong. And it's very hard to see when you have this deterministic view of the world, this binary thinking, this materialism. You're stuck in a problem, and that problem is the zero sum game, right? There's no pushing the rock up the hill without having the rock roll down the hill. I mean, I can do it. I mean, if you can't, that means you suck. It doesn't mean it can't be done. Different problem. And people are embodying a binary, right? Where they're always correct and it's everything else that is wrong. And once you see sort of the grand binary that they're stuck in, like, well, I'm always my formulations are always correct, right? Because my last name is Weinstein or something. Because they both do that. Or, you know, the WEF is doing bad things. I agree. They are. Well, they're certainly saying bad things and trying to encourage bad things and exemplifying bad things. Absolutely. So I'm going to get a bunch of nitwits together and we're going to give stupid talks and call it ARC. Like, what are you doing? Why are you identifying against that and trying to fight it directly? Like, it's not even where your strength is, right? Like, you've got a 1 million man army on YouTube and your decision is to go force the elites in a conference room in London to fight the WO. Like, how would you even do such a thing? Like, what is doing that? Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of materialists that just don't understand how anything works, and they're very confused, and they think politics is some kind of video game thing, and it has these quote rules, and that if you do this, then this, and it's like, wow. I mean, the number of people that think you can buy an election in the United States. Have you ever looked at the data? Like, there's actual data for this. This is not that hard. It's all public. Like, there is no correlation between how much money you spend and whether or not you win at all. In fact, there's a slight negative correlation. The last time I checked, I didn't think it was statistically significant, but famously, just simple observation. I mean, long before I ever did the numbers, it was easy to note, back in the days when we had a fourth estate, or at least the last vestiges of it, CNN would sit there and report, the most expensive Senate race in history, and how many of the guys that outspent won. Yeah, none of them. Like, I was like, what's going on? How come the guy outspending isn't winning? That's interesting. And there's all this money coming in from outside. I'm like, good. They're not going to win. Like, they're guaranteed to lose. Why? Because the money pouring in, especially from out of a state for a state-bound election, like a House or Senate race, is an indication that they're in trouble. Right. They don't have the momentum. They're trying to buy the momentum through advertising. And I'm not saying you can be a politician and not advertise. That would be silly. But also, advertising alone will not build up the right amount of momentum. That's the issue. So you have to know that. All right. My attempt to get more people involved in my chat did not work. So if you would like to join me, I will pin the link on the Navigating Patterns channel, where I have total power. And you can jump in and join in on camera and ask me questions, hopefully about momentum, and hopefully, yeah, like masterclass on momentum, like, oh yeah, when people are spending a lot for their election, that means they're in the losing position already and they're trying to buy momentum. There he is. Hey, Christopher, how you doing?
Hello. How's everything going?
It's going all right. It's
Good.
it's going all right. It's not going great, but it's going all right. We had a nice hot day, although now it's going to be cold. Like, I'm like, what is happening? And then I'm going to go to New England. It's going to be cold. And I swear, if it snows when I'm in New England, I'm gonna call Trump and have him just nuke the place. I'm like, we're done. We're done. I can't. We're done. Place is ridiculous. It's completely insane. So I'm already on the verge of never going back there because family sucks. But
Well, yeah, that's a different problem, but
Easter must be Eastered with the family. It's sad too. I see a lot of people don't do that, and I'm just like, you have no family momentum at all that you can deflect. And like now you have a family, right? It would be nice if your family got together for all the holiday meals and stuff, and they
Mhm.
don't. I'm like, this is not good. And everyone's like, we don't know what's wrong with community, and I'm like, really? It can't be that hard for you to figure out, can it? And then I'm like, all right, guys, I get that you don't know. Why don't you come ask me? Because I do know and I can just tell you. This wouldn't be hard. You don't have to make it hard. I can just tell you. It's not difficult. But anyway, how are you doing? What's going on?
Oh, I'm just hanging out here. Another Friday.
Another Friday. Did I do a good job with your request here?
Yeah, you did good with that. We'll give you an A+ on this one.
Oh, good, good. Yeah, I did all the notes today late. I mean, not that. I mean, I was right on the verge of not even bothering. I'm like, I don't need notes for this. This is easy. But I'm glad I did notes. It's always good to do notes because you always miss stuff. Yeah, I
Yeah,
was
I looked.
adding stuff in at the last minute, like 20 minutes before before we started.
Mhm. Yeah, I noticed. I looked it up. Momentum is somewhat linked with the word moment,
Mhm. Yep.
so it's it's a thing that you build up and then you build it up and then it like tapers off, and you build up and it tapers off, and that's why you have to keep revivifying it, keep it going.
Right, but the amount of effort you have to put in once it's going should be less, unless
Oh
you're
yeah,
doing it by yourself.
right.
That's more the issue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
People are always amazed at me because I do crazy things. Like I have things. So even, way before I was sick, I just had everything set up all the time. And so people would be like,
Mhm.
they'd like bring in their broken computer, right? And they'd be like, oh, this broken computer. Blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, okay, well, give it to me and I'll bench it. And they're like, oh my gosh, of course the bench is ready. You just plop the computer down, plug in the wires and turn it on. And they're like, that took
Mhm.
like 2 minutes. And I'm like, "Well, yeah, it's set up for that." Like, I had,
Right.
tech benches set up to fix computers, and they're like, "What if we have to open it?" And, like, the screwdrivers are sitting on the bench in the right, locations already. Like, everything is sitting right where it belongs, like any
Mhm.
good shop, right? And yeah, I'd be able to take things apart, and they'd be like, "Oh, no, what do we do with, we need a special connector." I was like, "Well, there's a connector drawer, and just open that, and the connector will be there." You know?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I had everything organized. So, that organization, it takes a little bit of momentum, but, like, the first time you, like, put all your screws away in a screw drawer and stuff, and then, you
Mhm.
don't think about it for a month, and then you need it, and it's like, "Man, I just saved myself so much time."
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you gotta build up that momentum. So even little
Mhm.
things like the way I can just leave a house, like I can just leave this house. It takes like 2 minutes. I could go from, wet and in the shower to out the door fully dressed because everything's set up and I know where
Mhm.
everything is. And I know like right up to grabbing the drinks on the way out the door because they're already set up, you know, like it's super important. And once you have that, you can just do so much more. And once you've come up with an initial organization, which is where all the time is, it's really easy
Mhm.
to keep that going, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Father Eric, clean your room. Oh,
Very
maybe
good. Yes.
I don't know. I don't know. My room is super clean right now, so we did the deep cleaning on it. I got to put up more pictures, but yeah, the deep cleaning's been done, and then been a lot of panic about houses and hoarding. We are as
Mhm.
far away from hoarders as you could possibly get, but someone else is rather
Mhm.
sensitive to too many boxes or something. I'm like, this is not that bad. It is a small house. And there are 2 people in it, so,
Yeah.
and the shed is packed, let me tell you. But
Mhm.
eventually we'll get the books out of the shed and that'll help. Then I can have that corner and fix up all I gotta put up hangers and stuff for tools because despite
Yeah, yeah.
not wanting to have any more tools, I've had to buy more tools. So yeah, yeah. I gave away my big jack, which is good because I'm never jacking a car up here. But still, there's all these tools that I had, and I had
Yeah,
an air
yeah.
compressor, and I had all kinds of stuff. I had tons of things. Not anymore. They're all gone.
Mhm. Yeah, that's the momentum is like also connected. I mean, you've mentioned it, but connecting momentum to cooperation,
Yeah.
and that's a thing that people don't want to do because they're individualists.
Eh,
And
I mean, everyone's been told they can know the world by themselves and they can do all these
yeah,
things by themselves. And I'm like, why would anybody tell somebody that? That's ridiculous. There's no way in
mhm,
hell you have a chance at that. Like, it's not even an option. Like, it's not an option for anyone ever, much less
right.
you. You're a muppet. Like, it's like, have you considered? You're not
Yeah.
Elon Musk. Like, hello. But yeah, people,
Mhm.
it's ridiculous. Self transformation is like a 3-walled section in Barnes and Noble.
Wow, that's ridiculous. But
It was the most insane thing I'd ever seen. I was like, "What
mhm,
what nonsense is this? This is complete nonsense."
mhm,
Denise, momentum of relationships before cooperation becomes possible. Yeah, I I I look, I mean, relationships are tricky because a lot of people who are a mess wanna have a relationship, and I'm like, it's not go to the gym and get good abs, but
right.
and I'm not saying don't do that, but also, like, that's not the thing. Like, clean your room will go
Mhm,
much further to getting you into a relationship than anything else. It doesn't matter if you're male or female on that one. Um, and man, when I was and this is so long ago now, when I was on the dating sites and stuff, the number of women that would say, like, "I don't cook," I'm like, "Well, I got news for you, honey. I'm not going anywhere near you." 'Cause if you think I'm cooking for you with the amount of money I make, you're on serious medication. Like, I don't know what you're smoking, but, there's no way. There's no way. And like, I can cook fine. And they'd pull that trick all the time. They'd be like, "Well, you can't cook." I'm like, "Of course I can cook. How the hell do you think I feed you think I eat out? I'm cheap as hell. I'd eat in every day. I'd
Yeah,
I'd
yeah.
eat rice every day. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me." So,
Mhm,
yeah, they don't understand. If you're in a good place, right, and you've got some personal private momentum built up, that's when you can get a relationship. Like, 'cause
mhm,
people wanna be a part of somebody who has some personal private momentum.
right.
It's a big deal. It's a super big deal. So, you gotta have that. Denise, you have to know what the person can understand, not necessarily effective relationship. Yeah. Well, you also have to have your stuff together. Oh, Andre, Mark can cook. Chef confirmed. Yes, exactly. Father Eric, Mark is cheap. Can confirm. Thanks, Father. That's oh yeah, cook confirmed. Even better, Andre. Even better. Um, yeah, don't laugh at him. Come on. You either. What's the matter with you people? Who's live streaming this anyway? This momentum's out of control. It needs to be deflected. But yeah, I mean,
Mhm,
people like momentum because it makes you better and bigger, right? And so that entices them to be in a relationship, and that's why the gym bros are more likely to get girls than you are. But if it's just gym broing, that's not enough. Like, they're looking for other things that you might work to attract them, but it's not going to hold them. You got to have other things going for you too. The abs are nice, but they're not the magic.
Well, yeah, I mean, the thing that being a gym bro gets you is more gym bros.
Yeah.
So,
Well, if you're a gym bro with a dirty room, and I've seen that,
Yeah.
you're not doing yourself any favors. You might suck
Mhm.
them in, but you ain't keeping them for long. They're gonna figure out real quick. I mean, it feels like a deception because it effectively is. Right? You're not trying to be a whole person. You're trying to be
Right,
the
right.
person that does the minimum amount possible to get the date. It's like, well, like, I mean, I guess, but
Mhm.
and that goes both ways. On the female side, they do the minimum amount possible to get the date. Yeah, but if you're not cooking and you're telling me you're not cleaning, or you're telling me you don't
Right,
need
right.
a house, a car, or whatever, because you have all that stuff. I don't know what you think I'm bringing to the relationship, but if I got nothing to bring to the relationship, I'm also not going out with you. So,
I mean, well,
just
that was even the Jimmy Soul song.
oh yeah,
Remember? Yeah. Yeah.
nope, I
You're
don't
gonna be
remember.
happy for the rest of your life. Never make a pretty woman your wife. Go from my personal point of view, get an ugly girl to marry you because he can cook and
That's funny. That's funny. Andre, gym bros are similar to ortho bros. Well, yeah, I mean, there are people that want to cheat the system. They want a shortcut because they play too many video games, and there's always a video game cheat. And so they think that's the real world because that's the model they have of a world. To be fair to them, like, okay, you've got a
Mhm.
model of a world. The world has a cheat code or a shortcut or whatever, or both. And so you
Right,
want to
right.
find that for all the worlds, including the one that you're embedded in, not realizing the one you're embedded in does not have that.
Mhm.
Can help guide a life, shouldn't be definitional to your identity. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, I mean, the whole idea of having a single identity is part of this laziness, and it's part of this wanting this individualism where, oh, I understand the whole world, so I can understand who I am within it. No, you can't, and you do.
Mhm.
Bad news, you can't do that. Good news, you don't need to. Like, it's totally
Right.
unnecessary.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was, you have to cooperate with other people to build something bigger than yourself was a point that you made there.
yeah,
Like, a board game with virtue cards and stuff. That's something you have to
and
cooperate on.
an actual board. How's that going, by the way? You want to give us an update?
Oh, the board, we're gonna do more on that after the cards get done.
Yeah. And the game in general, we've got a big meeting tomorrow, right?
Yeah, we'll have that meeting tomorrow and get a bunch of things decided and fixed up, and then the cards get done, then we'll design the board, and then we should be just about ready, so.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, that's been a big project. Big project.
But, these people, they don't wanna, well, you wanna be an individual, whatever, so you can't build anything bigger than yourself at that point.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
so, yeah, you're by yourself, you have to shrink everything down to something that you can build by yourself, and then you know, realize consciously or unconsciously, like, how small that is, and then
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's the big bugaboo. Yeah. Once you realize how insufficient it is. A lot of people will go in and like, oh, I want to learn to build software. And I'm like, why? Why do you want to build software? Right. If the answer is not because I want to do this thing, like, and I wanted, software to help me, then we're
Mhm.
already down a dark path. Like, it's like, well, I want to make $1 million. It's like, do you have any idea the skills required after you have a working app, assuming you can ever get to that point, and that's not easy, to market it
Mhm.
and sell it? And people don't realize the asymmetry. Like, you can market and sell things you don't ship. Like, the vaporware is a thing. Like, that happens all
Mhm.
the time.
Yeah,
Still,
yeah.
it's never not happened. But that so that should tell you where the money and the magic is, but people don't see the correlation. And I'm
Right,
like,
yeah.
what that means is the good app, even the best app ever written, is not necessarily gonna sell because there's no
Mhm.
correlation between quality of product and sales. That doesn't exist. We'd like it to, but, you
Right,
know,
right.
yeah. What does Denise have to say here? Lots of those guys as individuals make wilderness shelter videos. Yeah, fun to watch them. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna go to Symbolic World 2 here. So I'm looking forward to that. And Mary Harrington's doing a, do we need monasteries again style talk. And I'm just gonna be like, well, this is gonna be interesting. Because I don't think any of these people has any idea what the hell they're on about. They haven't done any research. They haven't really looked into what's going on. They think you can just monasteries just means a bunch of people living together. To blah. It's like no. There's services that monasteries used to provide that are now being provided by the government, and I don't think the right answer is to compete with the government. Not that you maybe can't bring them up side by side, but you better make sure you know what the telos of the monasteries is. You just don't go add monasteries and mix and solution to society or civilization or Western culture, whatever nonsense. They're all using nonsense frames. So
right. You can't have a monastery by making a commune.
Right.
So.
Exactly. That's oh yeah, that other woman. Harrington talked to her too on Socrates in the City. Louise something or other. Anyway, yeah, she's living in a commune. Like this is not the way. Noah, the cell falls into the platonic category of emotional resonance / painter's shadow. Yeah, that makes sense. Also might be a translation issue there. So attention there is inverted away from the form. Yeah, exactly. Oh, look, it's Andre. Hey, Andre, how you doing?
Awesome.
Hey, good. Can you hear my mic?
Yeah.
Yep.
We can hear you. StreamYard's pretty good about that, actually. It's probably got the best voice normalization out there. Let me see. Father Eric.
No, I have the gain always really high.
The telos of the monastery is the glory of God. Oh, well, you're the expert there, Father. But you're not going to Symbolic World. Who's going to tell Mary Harrington? By means of communal holiness. Yeah, well, now we know why it had momentum. Everything else from a monastery is a secondary product. Yeah, well, that's fair enough. Who's going to tell Mary Harrington, though? She's the one that needs the... I'm not giving the talk. I don't give any talks there that I know about, so I'm off the hook. I don't have to worry about any of this. I'm just going to listen to them be dumb and go, isn't that dumb? It should be fun. What's going on down under there, Andre? How you doing?
So we were in a heat wave about a month or so ago, and now it's autumn and it's hailing. It's storming today. Yeah, because all the time when I say, oh, it's summer in Australia at Christmas, they go, oh, that's right, you guys have summer. We have winter up here. And I'm like, yeah, I know. We're in different seasons. And then I realized that I'm like, I've never known my seasons. And I'm like, hang on, so what's after our summer? I had to look it up. I'm almost turning 40 in a few years. But I'm like, oh, okay, it's autumn. And looked up what Australian autumn is like. And it's just like moderately peaceful days, some heat, and a bit rainy. So it's not like an American autumn either. And our spring is sort of like a continuation of the summer. So it's just like hot, cold. And even in winter, we've had like heat waves too.
Yeah, it sounds like South Carolina. South Carolina just basically, 2 seasons, too hot and chilly. And then in between those transitions is a lot of too hot today, too chilly tomorrow, which is exactly what's happening. We had two 80-degree days, and now we're going to have a 60-degree day.
It is funny you say that because there's a line in Australia, so Northern Territory and Queensland, above there is a climate zone, which is monsoonal, I think. And they've only got 2 seasons. There's the wet season and like the hot season. They don't have the summer, winter, autumn, so on, because of the climate zone it's in.
Yeah. Hawaii's like that. Hawaii basically is the
Oh.
same. There's a wet season and a dry season. It's 85 degrees all the time. And it almost never is any other temperature. It's bizarre. It's so cool.
Yeah. We've got like winter, breakup, and summer up here in Alaska. So
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Uh,
Eric, weak sauce, Mark. 60 degrees is lovely. 60 degrees is too cold for Mark. I'll tell you that. It was too funny. I was outside today. It was like 84. And I was like, maybe I'm a little hot. I'll go inside. So I walked inside and I'm like, I don't know. I mean, what's good? And then I was like, wait a minute. You almost certainly did not turn the AC on, did you? So it was like 80 degrees in the house. I was like, oh, okay.
that's almost enough to boil water, Mark. Oh, you mean Fahrenheit? Fahrenheit. That's right. You guys use Fahrenheit.
Yep.
We have real temperature measures that match human experience, not made up ones that match fake science bullshit.
We match our temperatures to human experience, not water's experience. So
Exactly. Oh, I like that. I like that. Not water's experience. Yeah. Freedom units, Andre. There we go. Freedom units.
I don't know about freedom. I'm from a convict colony.
Well, that
Apparently, we're getting freedom next year. Once it gets shipped from the US. After we get Iron Man 2, we're still waiting for that one to come out.
There we go. Yeah, we just shipped freedom out on a boat, and then it wears out, so we've got to keep shipping it. That's how it works. At least that's how they think the Middle East works. We keep shipping them some freedom, and then
yeah, shipping freedom to Iran right now. That's
yeah, we're shipping freedom to Iran, and then they're going to take that ball and run with it, build some momentum. And I'm like the last 4 times, that's just in my lifetime. I'm like, guys, this is getting a little dumb. Like, I mean, you make the mistake once, I get it. You make the mistake twice, I'm a little like, well, let's go. You make it 3 times, now I'm angry, right? You make it 4 times, now I'm really angry. What the hell? Like, cut it out. Stop being dumb. But you know. Denise, Aussies have to ask the monarchy for freedom. Well, they shouldn't do that. Monarchies are good. Father Eric, genuine Texas for Texas doesn't export freedom. Texas, they're a bunch of bastards. They keep it all for themselves.
They could all
if you try to come take it, they shoot you.
Texas smoked freedom. Put the brisket put on the grill with freedom for 24 hours until it falls off the bone.
Sounds good. Sounds like a good business idea.
Yeah.
You could do that, Christopher, in Alaska. You'd say Alaskan smoked freedom brisket.
Yeah.
That would Father Eric, don't they sell it at Buc-ee's? I gotta say, Buc-ee's is so awesome. Buc-ee's is just America. Not America, just America. It's hardcore America. You just walk into a Buc-ee's and like, this is everything good and bad about the United States in one building at one time.
No.
With gas.
A friend on Discord, off the years ago on the Eric Weinstein Discord, told me about Buc-ee's, and I'm like, you're making this up. This is just like, it's like how we have the drop bears. And he's like, no. Show me the picture. And it's like the entranceway is like, was like 20 bays, truck bays for the petrol or gas. And then it's like inside is just like size of a Walmart or something with food and blah blah blah. I'm like, no shit, like that. It is really America,
and they're spreading like a virus. It's really funny. They're like all over the place. They built one in Virginia on the mountain route. We're gonna go visit that one. Probably on the way up for Easter. We'll definitely stop. There's no way around it. We're definitely getting off the highway.
It's a franchise, a chain, or like because originally I just saw one.
No, it's a big chain. There's a bunch of them, but they keep building them. So they're building another one in South Carolina, on the southern part of 95, and then the other one in Virginia. I don't know where that's going. I don't know if that's going on 95 or because the one they've built is on the mountain route. It's on way over the mountains. It's in the western part of the state. So
to me, like it looked big, but then like I was talking about Walmart people and like how we got Costco here, like a few locations. and they're like, "What size Walmart do you mean?" I'm like, "Huh?" They're like, "So there's Walmart, like, and then there's Walmart Mega, and then there's
Yeah.
Walmart. There was like another one." I'm like, "Hang on, like, what I think Walmart is like a massive thing. There are bigger ones."
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, well, yeah, like, and I'm like, it's like how you guys have like 4 aisles of cereal,
Yep.
and they're all just like different forms of sugar. And to us, it's just like, do you want Wheat Bix or do you want Fruit Loops? That's your choice.
Yeah, you get two. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's crazy. Well, and Walmart for a while tried the local grocery store trick. And actually, even though they're like the best at logistics, they couldn't do it. They couldn't compete with Dollar General. They tried and they could not do it, which is hysterical because different logistics with different size trucks. And that actually matters. Like anybody who knows anything about logistics, even a little bit like me, will know, oh no, that's a deal breaker. You can't, just because you know how to run a big 18-wheeler doesn't mean you can run a little box truck network. Those are totally different things. And Walmart couldn't do it. They actually had to get out of that. So according to Denise, she was not born in Texas, but she got there as fast as she could. I don't know, Denise, you're pretty old when you got there. Our Walmart is small. We shop at a Heb in Texas. Texas has its own things, although I think Bucky started in Texas. So, yeah, they're just spreading everywhere, though. It's hysterical. We've had one in South Carolina for years at this point. So I've stopped at a lot of them at this point. It's definitely a Pokemon problem for me, which is unusual because I don't get. But I'm all in on Bucky's. There's only one I won't go back to, the one in Pigeon Forge. I'm never going back there because the traffic on that one, it was unlike anything I had seen in years. I was like, why is it taking us 20 minutes to drive half a mile down a hill? I mean, to be fair, it took us 35 to drive up. So it's like, this is unacceptable. We are half a mile from the highway and you can't get in and out of this place at all. It just doesn't work. It's non-functional to get in and out of it. I'm like, this is no good. So, but we'll go to the one probably on the way to Easter or on the way back or something. We'll I think we're taking the mountain route anyway. So we'll probably hit that Bucky's hasn't been opened a year yet, I don't think. So we'll hit that one next. And then at some point we'll go down to Florida, and the one near Georgia will be open, but that one's in South Carolina.
Would you say you didn't make it that far because your car didn't have enough momentum?
I could say that. The little car won't. My convertible's in the shop, although they're claiming it's going to be done tomorrow. I'm like, oh.
What about the golf cart that you were being a criminal in?
I had it. I know. I had it out the other day.
Allegedly.
Well, he retracted all that. I had it out the other day, but it fell in the in the beaver hole. So we got to get rid of the beavers because there's a big hole in the yard. Big hole. Big, huge. And the golf cart got totally stuck. And fortunately, I had help. And a little bit of momentum pushed it right out. Golf carts are, a lot more resilient than they look. So once I got it out, it was fine. But yeah, I have a whole section of my yard I can't use.
The two caddy thing with the seat on the back, that type of one. Because they're like 5. Is there a different one?
It's a very old golf cart. It seats 2 people, and in the back you can put your golf clubs. That's it. There's no seats in the back. It only seats 2 people. It's a very.
No, I mean like the seats are in the middle, and then on the back, like you can either have like.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Okay, right.
This is really small. It's super small. It's an old Easy Go golf cart, just for two people, which is really for one person and their clubs in the back. And I fabricated an attachment so that I could haul my my dump cart with it. So you can pull the handle off the dump cart, attach it to the golf cart, and tow it with the golf cart. So that if I want to get dirt or whatever, I can use it as kind of a mini tractor. And that works fine. Okay. Yeah, so I just built that from scratch because I know how to build things, and I'm super thrilled about the whole thing because there was a little bit of engineering involved. I'm an engineer, so that was fun. But yeah, and then I have to actually go after we get rid of the stupid beavers and figure out where the hell they put, I don't know how many tons of dirt, but they moved a lot of dirt and put it back because otherwise I got holes in my yard.
It's funny that you say beaver
down.
hole and
Yeah.
gopher, because someone asked me, the movie Groundhog Day, like
Yeah.
we don't have any of those animals here in Australia, and
Right,
which
right.
is surprising with all the weird ones we have. I'm like, tell me, like, what is a groundhog like closest to? Like a raccoon? And they're like, no, like, don't you guys have anything close to? I'm like, no, like, is it sort of like a capybara?
Capybara. Yeah.
Like it's like a rodent family type thing, but
It's a rodent.
almost like a beaver. And they're like,
They're
yeah,
all
it's like a
big
mix of
rats.
those.
They're all big rats.
Yeah.
The
That-
beavers
that's
dug
what I thought.
a huge warren from this side of the pond near the house. So like 3 feet from the house is like a big sinkhole.
Wow.
Now. Yeah. And I have dirt way on the other side of the property, but and I've done it before I had the golf cart. I hauled the dump cart. I hauled a bunch of clay up to the driveway and stuff. But I'm gonna have to go out there and get dirt because unless I can find where the hell they put all the dirt. but I have it. I could take it from there. I could take at least some of it from the project where they're damming the overflow on the dam. But I got to get rid of them, and then I can get the regular overflow pipe unplugged, and it won't clog up again because they won't be here to do that. That'll be handy. And then I've got to put in I have all the stuff, but I haven't built it yet. I've got a cage to put over the overflow so that it won't clog naturally, because it would clog naturally, right? But I have a way to fix that permanently. I had to engineer a way, but you meet people
Is
on
it called-
Discord that tell you about
Is it
things.
called the old Smith and Wesson? Do it permanently to get rid of
Well,
it.
beavers, yes. Somebody's coming over with some sort of enhanced dispatch beaver technology, which I don't have. But yeah, one of the people I met originally on the Vervaeke server, like her thing is actually like water drainage systems and stuff. And I was like talking to her, and I'm like, I'm trying to do this thing, and she's like, oh, there's a name for that, and she's giving me the name and all the references, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Okay.
I looked up what I was trying to do, and I'm like, oh, it's kind of a unique way to do it, but it should work.
So I do remember, I don't know if it was your server or that one. There was this guy who was an arborist, who we chatted to for a while one night. You probably know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, Josh. Let's go.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Josh. Yeah, okay. That was a while back, but yeah, I remember like him coming on just talking about trees, and then it's like, okay, so I'm having an existential crisis. Like, what are you guys all about? What's this whole meaning crisis thing? It's like it was quite a segue. Sorry, that was my cat.
Shocker. Cats knocking things off of heights. Who would have thought?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She did pretty good, but now she's jumping on the desk, crawling under a MacBook on a stand, and then going behind my computer monitors.
New things to explore. Yeah, Josh used to go on Father Eric's live stream all the time, but we haven't seen him in ages, so I hope he's doing all right. Yeah, he used to be there every once in a while. He'd hop in.
Okay.
And then somebody hopped in the server last night but he was from the Vervaeke server, and he was like, oh yeah, I just saw you here. I'm not online much, but wanted to say hi, and thanks to you, Emmanuel, for helping me out. And I was like, oh, great, thanks. I'm glad to hear from you. Most of those people, they're gone,
Yeah, I spoke to hang on, let me look at his name. The Israeli, I'm trying to think of
which one.
Jacob?
No, Schleif.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the last time I was on that server and talking to him was just after the Israel-Palestine attack, and we were doing one of those practices, and he goes, "Hang on, guys, I just need to mute for a second. There's missiles going over my house," and I was like, and I'm just like, "Damn, dude, I hope you're okay." He's like, "No, it's just like the daily part of life for us now." And then the Iran stuff happened. I was sent him DM. I'm like, "Hey, heard all this happening, blah blah blah. Just hope you're safe." And the same sort of thing. It's like, yeah, just sort of used to it. Like, got bombshells and everything. It's all just nuts. But yeah, he's the only one I've really sort of talked to. The rest on there,
war isn't what people think, and because it happens. Who are they targeting? Are they targeting random civilians they don't know? Not usually. So, and if it's random civilians, they're not targeting you. Doesn't mean you won't get hit, though, right? Momentum, baby. War has a lot of momentum. That's why you don't want to start one unless you're pretty serious about putting an end to it. There's going to be a lot of momentum talk in the Adam talk here. I was telling Adam the other day.
How's Adam been doing? I haven't talked to him for like a while. Did he get married?
Good. He's married. Kids due pretty soon. And he's either in California or leaving. Either he left today or he's leaving tomorrow. He had to go to California for training and back to Ireland. His wedding in Ireland was lovely. That was awesome. I love going to Ireland. We'll go again. I told him I'm always worried. This is probably going to be my last chance. Like once you have a kid, and then because they want to have like 10 of those things. I'm like, well, what?
Yeah.
Oh, being Irish,
being Irish and relatively conservative.
Irish and Catholic. That's the big mix for a big family.
That's how you're supposed to do it. Yep.
What are you doing? You've only got 6 kids. Your mom needs another.
Pretty much. So yeah, no, he's doing good, and we're gonna record our next history talk. It's gonna be a big one. It's gonna tie a bunch of stuff together. We're gonna talk about a bunch of momentum. We think we've got it nailed on the head here. Although, man, some of this stuff is just depressing when you learn it. Like once you see the pattern, you're like, oh my goodness, like why are we doing this? This is getting really dumb.
Is there some sort of like way, if you stay with me here, that we can navigate these patterns you talk about? Is there like a channel somewhere like I could like maybe learn about these patterns? Like how can we discern and navigate a pattern?
Impossible.
We should have like a pirate captain start one of those.
Yeah.
It could lead us because we need to be in formation with the captain to get the information.
That's right. Information. Yeah. Wait till people figure that one out. That should cause I'm going to be curious with what happens at Symbolic World too, because we got some momentum from going up and seeing Jonathan Peugeot talk in North Carolina. So we'll see what happens when we get up there, because I think it's going to be a little bit different than Symbolic World 1 was. So, and I might have a talk before that too. So,
was that the one that where things went a bit haywire a couple of years ago?
And they didn't go haywire for me, although I found out there was a lot more drama going on at that than
for other people, there's drama behind it or something.
Yeah, there was some drama back there. A bunch of stuff I didn't know or really care about. But yeah, the landscape has changed. Things are a lot different now. A bunch of things happened in ways that I didn't expect, and but that's okay. It all benefits us, so it will. It'll all work itself out. Is Sally here to cause trouble? The patterns are in the primordial cooperation. That's got to be a blasphemy of some kind, Sally. I'm just. How do you ban people on Discord again? Can somebody? You guys in your primordial, you're gonna torture me with that forever, aren't you? Christopher's not saying a word. He's just like.
I don't know. I've mostly tortured you enough, I think.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. No, the one time you did the read the room in the primordial.
Yeah.
I was like, no, that's enough. I can't deal with that. Well, that's one of the speakers is going to be Kale at the. So I'm like, why do you have this guy talking? Have you heard him talk? Are you sure he's an expert at anything? That's going to be fascinating. I don't know if they've announced his talk because I'm not paying that close attention. But I'm just like, there's nothing he can talk about. Have an expertise level in. I hear him talk about education, and I'm like, I know you're a teacher, but man, you must be a bad one because you do not understand this at all. Like, at all. So, yeah, it's just, and yeah, I don't know what Harrington's going to say about monasteries, but I like, at this point, it's like, for the lulz alone. Like, I'm just, I can't wait to hear these people talk about this stuff. And you could tell, like, they haven't been thinking about it. You know, it's not like us. Like, we were talking about monasteries 6 years ago, right? Like, we've been hammering on this for a long time. These guys are like, oh yeah, somebody mentioned monasteries. I wonder what that's about. It was like
back when it was underground and cool. I was into monasteries before like it got mainstream, you know.
It's just, it's weird. Like, you're always in a weird position, right? Because if you've researched something, you can tell when someone else hasn't, but they can't.
Yeah.
They think
Right.
they're a freaking genius, and it's like, how do you let them down gently?
It's like World War II and someone who's read one thing about what the Treaty of Versailles is, and that's it.
Right, yeah. Not realizing that has nothing to do with anything, and who the hell cares? Because the Great War is the right frame, and this World War I, World War II thing is tricky, and or they're talking about the consensus, like Peugeot's been doing this. He's been the World War II consensus, like, that's okay, but like you really should tell people, like, the consensus is a flat version of the myth of World War II. It's what the plebs can handle, right? And then then you're going to get in trouble because everybody wants to be equal. And I'm like, yeah, but you're just not going to understand it. Sally Joe, I just regret that I won't be there to ask people if they believe in straight lines.
Mhm.
That is going to be fun. I will ask people if they believe in a straight line if I can remember, Sally. I might be overwhelmed. I almost drove up. I almost decided I was going to drive up a day early, and I was like, nah, I'm not going to do that. It'll be fine. I'll get to registration late, but it'll be fine. It's only 9.5 hours. So, and that should be a fun trip in the convertible. So it's really just a function of, you know, leaving early and never stopping the car ever, which I'm good at. So yeah, if they had like a refuel while driving service, I'd like sign up for that. That'd be so much fun.
Be like the
Isn't that called
or whatever, and
isn't that called the solar car?
The solar
electric car.
Solar cars don't work.
I wasn't saying it worked. I'm saying that's refuel while driving. Now it's like for the functionality of it, it's shit.
Somebody had a gas generator on a Tesla. That's a range extender. It's so funny. You know, you can just tell Elon is seething somewhere every time he thinks about it. There were a bunch of people like that. A bunch of people with solar panels, and they'd put them on when they stopped, and then of course it would be nighttime, so it doesn't really help. And it's all this nonsense. I'm like, what is wrong with you people? But yeah, it's Sally, man, you need to be serious, Hospital Mark, for the whole thing. No time for joy. I don't know. I don't know if I can be hospitable, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. It's gonna be interesting. Plus, you know, now that I know certain things I didn't know before, I'm like, oh well, What possibilities are there now? We'll see. We'll see. I might not be relegated to the back row here. We'll see what happens. But I'm gonna miss the crew. I mean, Tarpon Springs, we had Father Eric, we had Adam, we had Sally. It was great, and I'm gonna be there mostly on my own. But we'll see. I don't know who else is going, so I'm sure someone that I know is going and will be amenable and not mean. And we'll see how much we've colonized Richard Rowland. So
Right. Yeah.
he promised to watch at least one of my live streams. So that was payment because he took a bookmark, and I'm like, well, then you have to see the cup if you're going to take the bookmark. I mean, you have to buy a cup, but you got to see one.
Yes. You can't watch a Navigating Patterns live stream without a Navigating Patterns coffee cup, right?
I would think that would be unlawful or at least unethical. Yeah, personally, but I don't always get my way. I don't know why. I should get my way. If you can't get your way on your own channel, when can you get your way? I gotta fix the streaming so I can stream to like 9 million things, and there is a way to do it. I just got to experiment with it. I was gonna experiment with it this week, but I get tied up on things breaking and me not understanding why they were breaking because dumb things were being done, and the coding tools have gotten horrifically slow. I'm like, what happened? This took like 2 hours. Why? Like, that's ridiculous. So yeah, they've all slowed down. I'm like, what is going on? What? I don't know if they're running out of whatever. I don't care because I just want something to automatically do things. So it doesn't really matter how long it takes. But also I was like, well, this should be a lot quicker than it was. It used to be super fast. Now it's dog slow. I mean, completely dog slow. It's horrible. And I'm like, wow, it's a little weird. But they all still work, so at least they do work.
Slow work's better than no work at all. So,
well, and the theory behind AI is getting momentum, right? They want to get momentum and get people used to it.
mm-hmm.
They still have that theory. It's not correct, by the way, but that is their theory, that they can get people used to it or whatever, and it'll just keep going.
I've seen on my Instagram feed there's like an uncanny valley sort of AI effect with, so there was people who were like having like AI girlfriends, and there's AI therapy and so on, a bunch of things. There was a targeted ad or like some promoted ad, and there's an AI sort of girlfriend bot, and it's targeted towards like cosplayers and neats, and it's saying like, hey, do you want to talk to like realistic girls who like you and are into anime and like blah blah blah. Like it was like these specific things, like talking like a 4chan poster, sort of Asperger's, like anime, like weeaboo, and I've got the ad safe somewhere, and there's stuff like, we want to talk to you, we think you're interesting. I'm like, this is so dystopian. Like there's some part of AI where, like, as we've talked about, it's like you've got to feed it in like the prompts, so the things you get back from it, like you're interpreting the answers and analyzing it yourself. So like problem that exists between user and keyboard, mostly when like people have fucked up with it. But this was like, it's a mixture of like that and the like Facebook targeted algorithm and Instagram, where it's like once you feed it enough data, it's like, okay, dopamine treadmill. Like, how can we just get this person hearing what they want to hear?
Right.
It's the weirdest thing.
But that's the whole strategy. So they talk about funnels for advertising on the web in general, anywhere, YouTube, it doesn't matter. And the way funnels work is basically what you're doing is you're interesting as many people as possible, and then narrowing down the ones that aren't serious enough to pay real money. That's the whole strategy. right? And so, in other words, you're looking for the $300 buyers. That's what you're looking for. People will pay $300 or more, and they find those people because they're using such a large net.
So I found I pulled up the ad, and so the text, it's got text over it saying, "I can listen to you, I can understand you, I can love you, I can do whatever you want, and I never say no." Candy.ai, and it's some of like some of it's like obviously like cyberpunkish, but then the rest is like very like hyper realistic in that AI sense.
Yep.
And it's that's the dystopian part of it. It's like, and it's especially like, and I never say no type thing, because that's what people who want to hear what they want to hear. They don't want to like have confrontations with themselves or do any questioning. It's just it's a whole thing of like echo chambers and having yes men.
Well, they know what they're doing. They're targeting a very small group of people that no one else will cater to, and so they're willing to pay more money. And like that's it beats generic porn. Denise, I've been seeing AI craft videos. Really, Denise? Holy mackerel! Mostly shorts that are using words like violently to infuse drama into simple crafts. Very disturbing. Yeah, because it doesn't know the difference. So, I mean, I do use a lot of AI in the videos just to help me with, they call it ideation, right? So brainstorming is the real term. So, I have it give me a bunch of titles. I use 2 different AIs, right? So I title my videos with AI now. Sometimes I modify the titles, but usually it just does a better job than I'll do. Mostly because I'm lazy. Prompts are cheap. So, and the AIs are free, basically, or near to free. And when you look at what they're doing, when you analyze the data, you realize that, depending upon your prompt, of course, that if you ask it for something like make it appealing, it will use an emotionally charged word rather than doing there's other strategies in marketing to make something appealing, because that's the biggest case in the training data. They haven't come to terms with the training data problem yet, so they're gonna. It's almost an impossible problem to solve. It's not quite impossible. It's very difficult, and most people aren't aware of it. So,
I did actually also come across. I think it was on Steam. There was an AI thing, and it was a game of how to deal with an angry girlfriend, a training simulator for like for single men who haven't been in relationships. And this is a game you can buy, and it's like it's a visual novel type thing, and you've got to run through scenarios. It's like, she's angry, and the thought bubble's like, I wonder if it's about me. Is this because I did blah 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 blah? Should I say this? And then it's like answers. So you could say like, you should smile more, or like, I'm here to listen. And it's like going through like the script of like, how do normal humans operate? Like, how do I listen to women? That's one of the funniest AI examples I've seen so far.
That's terrifying. You know too much about that. Denise, there are Asian wilderness craft shorts that are doing this a lot, like violently, cutting bamboo strips, and then the rest of the short is dramatic too. Well, yeah, because they want to make it dramatic, because they want eyes, because everyone's saying attention is the economy on the internet or some nonsense thing. It's like, well, no, attention is the entire economy. You just don't understand attention. But also, attention doesn't get you anywhere really, but it will destroy the world. So when you get it in a negative way, we'll say, when you make everybody anxious all the time. It's interesting. I was listening to Rick Beato, and he was talking about how like his kids can just hear AI generated music, and he can't. And I'm just like, wow, I'm not surprised, but also that's not good. Because he just doesn't know what to. He can see it now. It took him a while. He can see it on an analyzer, so he knows what
it's like that. It's like that Rick and Morty bit where they have that simulation, and they make a really dumb one for Morty's dad, and they go, now playing human music, and it just goes toot, toot, and he goes, human music, this is great. and then also like they tone down the like processor for like the complexity of the models for where he works. So he does some performance about it. Does like a meeting about apples, and it's really shitty. And they just go, "That's great," applaud him, and he walks out, just strutting.
Denise says, "But crafters are running away from those videos." Well, yeah, I mean, part of the problem is people don't understand audience anymore because the internet is just, and they think the internet is a type of an audience, and it's like, no, the internet is a facilitator of filters, and there's all kinds of filters, and each filter has different audience. And the problem is the filters are so poorly done and non-specific, like on Facebook, that you end up with groups of audiences within platforms. But that's a function of the platforms being too large and accommodating too many people. And then also, trying to please everyone means that you just have a fuzzy system that lets in too many folks. And so you don't have a narrowed audience. And AI, to some extent, is designed to solve that problem. It's just that you can't. It's very hard to solve that problem, even with AI. But if you don't know how filters and audiences work, and most people have no idea, like in the industry, they have no idea what I'm talking about. There's nothing they can do. But it's actually it's a straightforward problem to approach. It's a little bit harder to fix, but it can probably be done. I just don't think anybody in the industry right now knows how, which is funny to me because I was in online advertising for a very short time, but I learned a lot. I was like, oh, wow, this is hysterically funny how this works. And then when you learn about funnels, about internet funnels and stuff and funnel marketing and all that stuff, it's like, oh, I see what you're doing. You just have a large number of people and you're filtering over and over again until you get the people that are willing to pay between $300 and $5,000 for stuff. And then the 300 ones, you sell them something for 300, and 3,000 ones, you sell them something for 3,000, or 5,000 ones, you sell them something for 5,000. That's pretty clever, actually, especially on the internet where you have so many people. Like, there's somebody will pay those prices. Somebody for this.
Have I ever shown you the meme about clickbait? And it's a dad with his son, and they're fishing, and he's showing him how to fish, and it's like, son, this is how we fish a clickbait. And he goes, so what do I do? And he goes, what happens next will shock you.
That's funny. That's funny. That was the title of my Benjamin Boyce talk, clickbait.
Oh,
yeah.
I don't think I've seen that one.
You should go on Benjamin Boyce's channel and watch me lay it all out, because I did a good job, according to my peeps. So
you always do a good job, Mark.
I don't know about that, but I appreciate the confidence.
Okay, you mostly do a good job. Sometimes you really go swing and miss.
Sometimes I'm sure I swing and miss. Yeah. It's always good to know, though. A lot of people won't. A lot of people are too positive. I like negative feedback. I like to know what I'm doing wrong. I don't care about what I'm doing right. I'm already just doing that. That's nothing. I want to know what I'm doing wrong. So yeah, now that I've tested the AI with the transcripts, man, we get some possibilities, especially for the live stream monologues. We can make all kinds of material out of that, and then I could probably put together study material and everything else now. I've got enough content that we can squeeze all that stuff out, and we're only like a week away from being able to start that experiment. Unfortunately, it's going to be Easter, so I don't think we'll make any progress on it until mid-April, but we'll see how it goes. It's tough because we're driving up north 2 days each way, pretty much, right? So
that's going to be around the time of my birthday, then, mid-April.
Mid-April is your
3
birthday?
weeks. Yeah.
Awesome.
18th.
That's great. Congratulations.
The old 3-7.
Yeah, it's all over.
Very weird age. It's because I feel like I decided that a long time ago, and I haven't been able to. But it's not like Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say 37 isn't old according to Monty Python. So
There you go. You can't have a more authoritative source than Monty Python for anything. So
Well, it's not like 39 or so where it's like I'm about to hit 40, but it's not like it's definitely not early 30s, but it's too far from mid 30s to be like, I can't hold on to that title anymore. It's such a transitory age. It's like when I turned 29 or 28, I'm like, don't feel like I'm 30, don't feel like I'm mid 20s. And then 31, 32, 33 all felt like the same age.
yep. Right in the middle of the curve there. That's how it works. Not until you get on the other side of the curve that you're like, oh no, help. What did I sign up for? How do we stop this? We need to stop the momentum, please. That's why you got to build up the momentum, before it's too late. Because on the backside, man, it gets tough. It's real tough.
Oh yeah, I know that. I'm backpedaling from all of it. Like I'm trying to retrospectively build momentum into the future at this point.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's you got to get going because 37 doesn't last forever, and it's not like you're on the improvement side of the cycle anymore. So, got to get in what you can. Get in what you can. You don't want to end up like DZ. Have you heard from DZ?
I was thinking about him the other day, actually. No, I haven't heard from him for like a couple of years now.
Oh wow!
Probably the last time. Yeah, that was the last time I probably heard from him, and he was on like, he seemed to be like getting better, when we sort of talked at that point, and when you talked to him, because my experience of him on the other server was vastly different. He was a lot more ornery and you know what he's like.
Yeah, he tried that on my server. It just didn't work.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like he tried it on me on that server, and like he never got his way. But then when he came to your server, and it's like, so Mark, you say blah blah blah. I don't agree with that, and you just be like, no, listen, and he's like, oh, okay,
yeah.
That's a good point, because like you're a man of science to him, and his background was in like chemistry and computer science and stuff. So as soon as like, you bring in anything technical, scientific, he'd just be like, "Oh well, yeah, that makes sense. I can't disagree with that. But if it's ideological or anything else, it's all just sort of like opinion." Like when he
was pretty good with that. A lot of people, when they hit that wall, they freak out. But
he had told me one time on that server, he said, answered me this, Andre, in the Bible, right? Jesus doesn't walk around saying you need to respect women, you need to treat them with equality. He literally rises his friend Lazarus from the dead, when he could have been walking around saying you need to treat women as equals. Answer me that. I'm like, where do I start? Like the cherry picking, like the sort of the other things happen. Like he said a lot of things.
It could be worse. Andre. It could be worse. He could be one of the standard BOMers who just they think they know things that they've never been part of, and they know what happens at the CIA behind closed doors. And it just whenever you get them on being wrong, they just flip out and call you mean.
Like a certain person starting with the name of D that we both know about the CIA.
Almost everybody on BOM was doing that stuff.
I'm talking about a very specific person.
I know.
Yeah. But yeah, no, you are right.
They're all whacked up, borderline conspiracy
there are more than one.
Full-blown conspiracy theorists, which and
to
be a conspiracy theorist, you really do have to believe that you have access to information that there's no way anybody has access to, right? And a lot of time it's just pure fantasy projection, and the unfortunate part is when you're around people like that, it builds more momentum to be more conspiratorial up until you rage quit your own live stream because somebody you were talking to had no idea what you were talking about, even though you were insistent that they must be lying. And
Mm.
yeah, all because they misread some messages and made a bunch of assumptions about who's who on the anonymous internet. Like, which they these people are all like, the internet's anonymous, but I know what's going on in the anonymous internet. And I'm like, really? That's
Yeah.
your thesis.
I
Your
I
thesis
run
is
I
not
run the
that
dark web.
anonymity, but I know what's going on. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
The conspiratorial thing is like a lot of like restructuring, reframing of narrative and like discernment whilst in like state of paranoia. Like, as you know, like I've a couple of years ago I had an issue with that, and having like gone through it, like that is what you're doing, because when reality is not making sense to you, you're putting together strings to anything that has a pattern, but a disjointed pattern with no sort of rhyme or reason, and anything that has a slight sort of connection, it's like, he mentioned a thing that I like have some connection to in my life, so he's part of the whole thing. Like, why did he say red shoe? I've got red shoes. He must be in on it.
Yeah, that's what happens. And you know, I mean, I don't have any evidence whatsoever, but also patterns. Who do you think did the golf cart thing? Like, who do you think weaponized poor John with the golf cart lie? Like, I mean, if it wasn't that particular person, it was somebody on that particular server. There's no question about it. Because
I wasn't sure of the origin of where that guy had come from.
Oh yeah, John.
I just
John said on the live stream somebody told him about that.
Ah.
Oh yeah. He said it on the live stream when he apologized. He's like, no, somebody. Right. He declined to say who, which was fine. I whatever. I just offered.
And then there was
you offer them.
Then there was that guy who was ranting about you because of he shaved his head after talking to you. I think he went on Jacob's stream and said they proposed to his girlfriend or something. He said, I just want to like complain about my yeah. Oh, that okay, that makes a lot more sense. That was him.
Another fantasy person. Yeah, just totally ensconced in complete fantastical delusions out of their crazy imagination. And you know,
always when I'm in the chat, he thinks he's trolling me. Like, I'll say something and he just says something out of pocket, like stupid. I'm just like, I meant this. And he goes, oh, no, I'm trolling you. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, I think you don't know what you actually are saying. Like, it seems like you've got no handle on it.
It's sad when somebody on the wrong side of the bell curve tries to, do something that requires to be on the other side of the bell curve. It just can't handle it. It's just sad to watch. And that's all you can do. But that's what happens in these situations. Is that's why I'm not a supporter of
it's like that what's that curve? It's like the Dunning-Kruger effect in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like they think they're on that side, but they're really on the other.
I have a whole animation about that now. It's lovely. Castle helped me with it. Of course, Castle's never going to help me with an animation again after that, but that's okay. He helped me with that one. Yeah. You can't tell what side of the curve you're on. Once it's and it's a physical effect. Like, that's what the animation does. It shows you that physically in the world, you would come to that conclusion because this is what the world looks like to you. You always look like you're higher up than you are, always, because you can never see the people at the top clearly, and you never see how many there are, but you can get a sense for how many people are below you. So it's always a bigger number.
Yeah,
always.
You can get a sense, but also people, I think, tend to discount it or like try and think of like they've got a tabula rasa on their where their knowledge sits. It's like that. What was that quote? If I've seen further, it was because I was standing on the shoulders of giants. I think that was Newton.
But again, like, they see all the dumb people clearly. They don't see all the people smarter than them, hardly at all. And so they don't actually, that means you always think you're way higher up on the curve than you are. Always. Like there's no choice. Like you wouldn't, and you can't see the smarter people clearly. You can't count
Australia them. Also, we've got the tall poppy syndrome type thing where people cut down others. It's being like, oh, you think you're better than me because you know blah blah blah. Like you're not better than me. Like, and this sort of happened to me once when. So you know the French press coffee, it's called a cafetiere. I said to someone, "Oh, I just bought a new cafetiere," and they went, "A what?" Like cafetiere, you know, like, and I described it, and they went, "Oh, you mean fucking a plunger, a coffee plunger? Why are you using fancy French words for, mate? Like, you think you're like some sort of inner city metro type, do you?" I'm like, "No, I was just using the name." It's like, "Oh yeah, okay, go off to your art school." And it's like, yeah, you use like one like foreign word, and suddenly like you're an intellectual.
Yeah. A lot of people are like that, but that's the asymmetry. You know, you can't see yourself clearly, and you can't see people above you clearly, and you can't understand people below you as well as you think you can. And yeah, that causes something that you can measure called Dunning-Kruger, right? It causes the Gell-Mann effect. It causes all these things for sure, but it's a much simpler model just to understand that your sight is broken in that way, and there's a natural bias, asymmetrical bias towards self-measurement that always causes you to believe you're way above where you're at. And you know, once you understand that, you can have a little bit of sympathy for people. It just doesn't help you. Right. It doesn't like who's going to go back and explain to Cale Zeldin that he was the only person saying, read the room, and that me and my friends have been laughing about it ever since. And he sounds like a fool, including people that were in that room at the time. You know, I mean, there were a ton of people, and they're like DMing me, and I was just like, oh, please go away.
Oh, you're going to have to tell me the backstory.
I mean, I'm happy because I mean, we're getting so much amusement mileage out of it, and it was so left field too, because like I'm just talking to my friends in a live chat. That's all that was happening. You know, we're making our old jokes that we've been making for years together, right? And he's like, read the room. It's like, what are you talking about? Why are you insane? Like, did you take some kind of medication we should be aware of? Or was there a medication you failed to take that you're supposed to take in the morning? Or where did this come from? But, you know, I mean, he doesn't know any better. So it's like, and he's never going to know any better either, probably, which is the sad part. I don't think that any amount of so-called education or reading old books is going to help him. You know? I hope I'm wrong, but also you get a lot of experience with these people.
No, the problem, Mark, is that you just need to have more empathy. That's
if I were just more empathetic, I would have read the room better.
You needed to have more radical altruism.
Yes.
Right, exactly.
You need to read the room radically altruistically so that you can
with empathy, and that will resolve
it from being primordial.
The primordial fantasy problem.
Primordial empathy.
Primordial empathy. Perfect. There we go. Oh goodness. Yeah, I mean, it's great that, like I said, I mean, it's nice. It's nice that people are giving out free entertainment of such high quality. But like, what else am I supposed to do with this other than laugh heartily at it? It's too bad. It's like it's you know, it was weird. I rewatched the whole segment with Boyce, and I just like, these people do not even want to talk about cooperation. Like, they don't even want to talk about it. You try to get them to like, no, you see, you have a set of skills and someone else has a set of skills. And when you put those together, you get something bigger than either of you could have done. No, they will derail that faster than you can say boo. And then and people are not there yet. So the one interesting thing I saw is I guess JD Vance was asked in an interview about the aliens. He goes, "Yeah, I think they're basically demons." And I'm like, "Yes, it's gonna get lit now. The alien people are gonna fall lip out." And yeah, I mean, but what else describes this sort of behavior by people, where they're just magically seeing things, and you try to bring up a difference of cooperation versus non-cooperation, and they just randomly derail the point you're trying to make. What else explains this behavior? Like, there's no psychological explanation for that. I mean, there could be, but psychologists seem allergic to the unconscious all of a sudden, because I guess that breaks their individualism or something. And wouldn't that suck if all your psychology?
It's radical altruistic narcissism.
There we go. But it's just people suck, and I don't know. There doesn't seem to be a solution to sucky people. I don't know. What else you got, Christopher? Did you anything missing from Momentum? Did I cover everything?
No, I think you've covered everything, as well as I can tell right now.
Good. Yeah, we have so much momentum on our board game. It's super exciting.
Mhm.
It's so close. Yeah. We're getting closer all the time with the board game. We should be able to get that done. And we have so much momentum with the indexer now. Once the channel's indexed, oh man, if we can index any YouTube channel we want, it's gonna get lit.
I barely knew her.
And if I can get, I mean, I know there's a way to do it. I haven't thought about it much yet, but if I can get the build me a slides thing with the right prompts to work on that data set, because right now that's stuck in Notebook LM. But that's a Google service, so I'm sure I just have to figure out how to call it. But if I can get that to work and then just start making slides off the videos, that would be freaking awesome. Then I don't have to draw up a bunch of slides. And even if we get them most of the way there and Sarah just has to fix them, who cares? That won't be a big deal. So we'll have to figure out what slides are next. And then next week I will release 2 videos. They're commentary, part 1 and part 2. And one of them will be on Friday, just so you guys have something to watch on I guess it's Good Friday or something, right?
Yeah, it will be.
So so that way while I'm on the road, I won't be missing my Friday spot quite so much. So yeah, that's all coming. Yeah, we've got really good momentum. This year we should hit a bunch of stuff. We should be able to actually make some real inroads, really get things rocking. So, all right, I think I'm going to shut the stream down. Andre, where are you? Do you have
Just have to let my cat out.
Closing statements on momentum or whatever? Demons, whatever.
Let's see.
We covered a lot of ground.
Just like as you've said, if you don't have a religion, one will be provided for you. If you don't have a momentum, an unstoppable force will be provided for you to stop you. The unmovable force versus the immovable object.
I like it. That's good. Yeah. I talked a little bit about the gravity thing. That was the best analogy I could come up with. Christopher, what you got for closing momentum statements?
Yeah, you need to like you said, you need discernment for whether the momentum is good or bad, so that you can focus on the good momentum and be better. Yeah.
Well, that is the sort of the theme of all of these live streams, right? Is we want you to be better because the world needs you. And, one way to do that is to recognize that momentum and sort of interact with it appropriately. And that definitely requires discernment. and at some point I'm gonna have to tackle that. But that's several weeks away at this point. That's at least 4 weeks away. Thank goodness. But yeah, we'll be getting into that, and a lot of the board games going to be training discernment specifically, right? So we've got that rolling, and I think a lot of people, like Gustav's found some people over in Budapest there where he is, that are really interested in this project, in the games in particular around the virtue cards. So I'm super excited about that. So that's all part of the momentum. And look, I mean, if you're not here, helping us build card games and board games and write books and do videos and come up with topics and whatever else, then what momentum are you caught up in? This is a good time for a little bit of reflection, right? And then how do you build momentum? It's basically just discipline, right? And that's the start. And then you need to start cooperating with people. And the first few times it's probably going to go poorly for you, and that's okay. You just got to learn. And some learning is doing things and never understanding why they didn't work. That's still learning, right? Because the thing you learn is, well, yeah, of course, Iran is not going to fall just because they had yet another revolution and we bombed the government. Just learn the lesson. Don't try to fix it. Just say, all right, we're obviously bad at this. We're really dumb. Let's not do this again, right? And just learning that, because then you can put your time, energy, attention towards something that does work in terms of momentum and cooperation. And, once you do that, you can do that over and over again, and things will just get better. And that's really, again, what we're all about. Be better. So look, everybody, again, no stream, but I will put out part 2. Part 1 will come out earlier, right? We'll release part 1, and then part 2 of this commentary of Mary Harrington and Jonathan Peugeot. They've done 2 talks. This is the first one that they did on Socrates in the City. The second one is considerably better, I would say. But the first one was a nightmare from my perspective, which is why I had to do 4 hours to cover an hour-long talk. So hopefully you will all enjoy that, and you'll see things in there that I haven't, maybe you haven't seen before, that aren't in the other commentaries, because these are 2, we'll call them mid-tier players compared to like a Peter Boghossian who's at the bottom of the barrel. And have a good week. Have a good Friday and a happy Easter. And the Pirate will be back after that, the following Friday, for another live stream. And we're following this particular pattern, right? We did grounding. Today was momentum. In a couple of weeks we'll do scale, right? And then we'll cover hierarchy. So all of those will be important. They'll lead up to this discernment thing that we're going to have to tackle at some point that I dread. But we'll get it done. Have a great week, everybody. We'll have a great 2 weeks. And I'll see you in a couple of weeks after your lovely Easter. And look, be better. Be better. The world needs you.